my life, our lives, that's life. That's Life with Sheran Keyton, chatting about love, life, and everything in between. Your life, my life, our lives, that's life. Your life, my life, our lives, that's life. Your life, my life, our lives, that's life.
Hello, and welcome to That's Life with Sheran Keyton, a show about life and love and everything in between. Now, I am not going to be all in your business without giving you a little bit of mine, so don't fret. Today's topic is work-life balance. I remember hearing my grandmother talk about when she was a mother, there was not an option. She didn't want an option. There was no work or family. It was just family. She stayed home. She took care of her kids. She took care of my grandfather. And that's the way life was. Along comes my mother, and the decades shifted and life shifted. The world shifted. My mother took care of my sister and I, and then she also had to work all the time. So my sister and I didn't see her nearly as much as we probably would have liked to because she worked all the time. So that work-life balance wasn't exactly there. Fast forward a couple of decades, there is me and all of the women that are my age. We're running like crazy trying to have a career, have a family, go on vacation, you name it. And it's crazy. So it's like, what really is work-life balance? Like, has that become cliche? Like, is work-life balance an obtainable thing? My guest today is someone who exemplifies work-life balance. As a matter of fact, when I first came to know who she was, I came to know her kid first. She was doing a marketing visit with a company that I was working for, and in comes this beautiful little girl, no more than maybe 3 or 4 years old, with this curly, beautiful hair, and we're taking pictures of her, and I thought, what a novel concept. Her entire company is based on her baby being with her at work. Now, if that ain't work-life balance, I don't know what is. So I don't want to tell you too much more about her because I don't want to get it wrong. I want her to tell you about herself. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to welcome to That's Life with a Sheran Keyton, Fort Worth woman. Hello.
Hi,
Welcome.
hi. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Have a seat. All right. So, first of all, thank you for being here.
Of course, you have mugs. Of course, I'm going to
I
be
do. Oh,
here.
yes. I
cheers.
do. Cheers. I think that it's very kind of selfish that I want people to take home a mug with a picture of me on it.
Every day. I'm going to use this. I'm so excited.
I love that. You're my favorite. So tell me, I already know, but tell them a little bit about who you are, what you do. I'm going to shut up and just let you talk.
Oh, gosh. I was a teacher turned school counselor who then got into a bet with my dad, honestly. He had a San Antonio Woman magazine for 15, 20 years at that point. And he was looking towards retirement. And we were talking about him needing social media for the magazine. And it became a one bottle of wine down. And I said, you need social media. And he thought it was just kind of crazy and just a waste of time. And I said, fine, I'm going to create a fake Fort Worth woman. I only had one child at the time. And I said, it's just going to follow what Charlie and I do. And if I have 100 followers in a week, then you have to hire someone and I'll help with that. And I'll just drop the account. So I did that, took pictures of our historic house, where we walk, where we go, hid my daughter's face at the time because I didn't think it was going to be anything, but she was always in the background, and helped him with his person, get his new intern on board, and just dropped the account. And then within a month, it had 500 followers and then 1,000 followers. And I had hit that point of social media where it naturally grew on its own. It is a lot harder now. And just hit the sweet spot. And so I came back to it and have been doing that ever since, and pulled in some native marketing and feature what's great about our city, how I engage in the city with my children in tow. And now it's my full-time job alongside staying at home.
That is awesome. That is awesome.
Yeah, I think we're 5 years into it now. Yeah.
I was going to say it's probably been about 4 years since the time I met you. So,
Yeah.
wow. So, how do your children adapt to this life?
It wasn't until this year that my daughter even realized. In kindergarten, she had no idea. My sons have no idea. I mean, one's 9 months old, but the 4-year-old has no clue. He knows that he has to take pictures and he'll stop and like perfectly pose and then go back to it.
I love it.
But he has no clue. It wasn't until my daughter went to kindergarten, had no idea. I kept her home for first grade due to COVID and taught her virtually. So she didn't see a lot of people. And then second grade now, she has friends running up to her saying, "Your mom's Fort Worth woman." And she came home and goes, "What's that?" I was like, it's just mommy's job. She was like, "Everyone calls me Biddy at school," because I gave her a different name. And she's just now learning. But other than that, they think we just get to do really cool stuff all the time, which I love.
That's great. That's great. That's great. Is there a point in which you think that you'll stop involving them or give them the option to choose whether they want to be involved or?
100%. Yes, I make sure to, right now, especially with my almost 8-year-old, get her permission before sometimes she takes over my stories and she wants to talk. And so if they ever don't want to be in anything, of course they don't have to be. But there was also, I felt like, and still feel like, a power in teaching them how to take care and be careful and be mindful on social media, because it's going to be a part of their lives.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping to set that example. And when my daughter wants to get on social media, which will happen probably earlier than I think, she can get on via my account and she'll have a big responsibility on her shoulders.
Yes. Yes. Well, she is a natural. She just like exudes personality and energy. And yeah, she's amazing. She's a natural.
She lacks zero confidence, which I just want to bottle for her forever.
Right, because sometimes the world will just take it from you for whatever reason, and it's just like, but she does. She just has this childlike wonderment that's just like all of your children do.
Thank you.
And
They're
I might
sweet.
note, ladies and gentlemen, that these children are beautiful. Every time I see Michelle post, I'm thinking, yep, I'm gonna have a baby.
I'm a sucker for all
I'm
of
having a
them.
baby.
Their daddy's super handsome. They got lucky with his genes.
So speaking of dad, I noticed you tagged some time ago, and I thought, wait a minute. So now your husband is Fort Worth man. Talk to me about how that came about.
He is Fort Worth man. Fort Worth woman was kind of a hard thing for him to swallow at first. I was staying at home, and then it started to kind of rev up, and it was hard because the expectation was, I thought you were just going to do this with the kids. And I was having to leave all the time. We were having to learn how to tag team. And so as he got more on board and figured out we're getting better at this communication of how to do all the things, which is easier said than done, he started Fort Worth Man as a way to showcase the shenanigans behind kind of the filter. He also uses it for like his truck obsessions and things like that.
Yes.
But in the background, a lot of it he'll put on his stories, like, here's my picture posed with the kids and our food, and I'm talking about the food, and then he'll showcase like the screaming and the mess and the spilled cup and like the actual reality in the background, which I love, and it's just as important.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, because I got to know your personality, and I was very fortunate to get to know your personality before really knowing the persona Fort Worth woman. And so I'm like, she's charming, she's funny, she's just a nice person. Like, all the women in the world see a woman who is as beautiful as you and with this perfect family, and we're like, I hate her. Yeah. But you can't, because you're so nice,
You're so
right? So I think that him showing the behind the scenes, the messy part, the crazy part, the kids screaming, the baby dropping the pacifier or whatever, I think that helps people to connect with you in a more real way. So it's not just this superficial visual of this perfect family that most of us are never going to be.
Yes, and we're not 90% of the time,
Right.
we're not, unless if we're
Right.
walking into church.
Right. It's like, okay, everyone knows this is the Lord's house.
Yes, that mom talk in the parking lot and then the walk into the church is absolute perfection.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I know it all too well. My children are 21 and 28, and I still give that speech.
See,
I'm like,
okay.
listen, don't go in there on your phones. Jesus does not like that. So I, like I said, I'm a huge fan, and I had the privilege and the honor of getting to know you first. What would you tell somebody? Let's just say another woman who is looking to find that same kind of balance. I know you told us you kind of stumbled into yours and it just worked out. Well, now the internet is flooded, courtesy of the pandemic, with so much content. Everybody wants to be a YouTube star. Everybody wants to be whatever. What would you tell some young woman or young man who genuinely wants to make a business of it and still be able to spend time with their family? What kind of things can you share?
Oh goodness, I'll share all the things.
Okay.
Start now. Don't wait till next week. Don't wait till next month. You're going to be just as busy then as you are now. So start now. And keep going. Find a piece of it every day that you can do, whether that's small, huge, just do a small piece of it every day. It makes that consistency makes a difference. It gets you in a good practice. And sometimes that means you showcase the advertising things. And sometimes that means you showcase just, I'm sitting on the floor playing with my kids. I mean, sometimes I get just as much engagement on a story that is a shoe advertisement than I do when I built a magnetic block car wash with my son. And people are like, that's so fun. I want to do that, because we washed all the cars that were dirty outside.
Yes.
And when you showcase all that real stuff and you do it consistently and people never know what's coming their way, they stay engaged. Plus you can get in all the algorithms, and the algorithms like it if you do something every single day. But yeah, starting now and be yourself. People are tired of the filters. Be 100% just who you are.
It's genuine.
Wear what you want. Put your heart on your sleeve. We don't need a sob story, but we want some of the soul pieces of it, and people engage with that. And it gives me hope in the world that that's still what people look for.
I love that. So everyone hears that. Take it to heart. She's made it work. So I think that that's great advice. What is it? I probably already know the answer to this, but what is it that keeps you creating good, positive, amazing content and not giving in to the clickbait, the shock factor things, the things that I know people are going to click on this if
Yep.
You're always very modestly dressed. Everything about you exudes class. And that's what I like about you. But talk to me about if there are the urges to kind of do something a little more racy or a little more eye-catching, not just aesthetically, but just with your content. And B, if, why you don't. Why you chose to just be good old wholesome Michelle, putting it out there like it is.
Thank you. I think to start, that is just, it's who I am. And because of the way this account started, I've been able to keep, if I added the extra flair, it goes outside of who I am. I am the cute skirt, but also sneakers. I'm going to go to soccer. I'm going to throw a party. I'm going to do all the things all at the same time. And my most exciting thing of the day is that I got to take a shower and do my hair. That is some of the real stuff. And
Yes.
If I add in the extra flair, it starts to become more of a show and a production. And while there are places for that, what I've created it's not meant for that. It's supposed to show the everyday. And
I love it.
being in our city is every day.
I love it.
And I've got just a 7-year-old girl, and she looks at me and she watches me. And I will not be a perfect example, but gosh darn, I will try. And I will at least be an example of mommy made this mistake, or I said something and it hurt this person's feelings. I've had to have those conversations with her before. But I want to be an example to my kids. I want to honor my husband. He works so hard. He is Fort Worth born and raised. I want to make sure that he knows that I'm representing our family, I'm representing our marriage, I'm representing myself. And I take that very seriously. And I do on a day-to-day basis. So it just kind of flows into Fort Worth Woman. And there's also parts and pieces about what I feature that have nothing to do with me.
Yeah.
And because Fort Worth is in the name, I also take that very seriously. Because, I mean, I'm not going to speak for everyone in our city. I'm going to express what I like and I appreciate and my experience, hoping that other people will as well. But I'm not going to force any of that down someone's throat or take a certain stance necessarily on anything when Fort Worth is in the name, because we're all here. And this is a city for all of us. And I want people to feel at home like I did.
Yeah.
That was a long answer. Sorry.
No, that was
lots
great.
of pieces.
No, that was great. I wanted to hear all of that. And probably to add to that, not only is your little girl looking at you, but like you mentioned, she's young and already her classmates are going, your mom is Fort Worth Woman. That means that their moms are watching you, and therefore those daughters are watching you also. So it goes beyond your daughter, your household. It's on the World Wide Web. So
Yeah.
you're famous.
Oh, now I'm gonna get sweat bullets for a few days.
Like everything you post, you're like, okay. Will you ever leave Fort Worth?
No. When my husband and I got married, we thought we were leaving and we were going to go from military base to military base. So I crammed my master's in really fast and planned in my head and my heart to move around. He's born and raised Fort Worth. His business is here. My business is here. My nephews are here. My parents are moving up here, at least part-time. They just bought a condo downtown. And so we're here for the long haul, for sure.
You'll have built-in babysitting now.
I sure hope so. And the best. Like, there's nothing better than a Nana and Papa. But
I know. People often ask me, I was born and raised here in Fort Worth as well. And I go places and people go, oh my gosh, where are you from? Or I'm performing here somewhere. For those of you who don't know, I'm a professional singer.
And she's fantastic.
Oh, stop you going. Oh, stop you going.
I love it. The first song, sorry, I'm going to sidetrack. The first song you do every time you open a show, like, oh, it gives me the goosebumps. And like, you need to catch a show when she's doing it.
Thank you. And that came directly from Fort Worth Woman.
That's right.
So thank you for that. And you know what's so crazy, and I'm going to segue into this a little bit later, but that's so important to me because just like you spoke of all the things that you represent from your husband to your family and the city of Fort Worth, I have all of these things that are parts of me that I represent, you know, being a woman, being a Black woman, my family, my home, my upbringing, but then above and beyond everything for me is my faith. And so I'm like, I don't care if I'm singing in a jazz club. I don't care where I'm singing. Y'all gonna get some Jesus before I do anything
I love it.
So
it just starts everything on the right foundation. Everyone just kind of is a cohesive group together. It's very special.
And you know what, Michelle, I've realized, and it's the reason why I've continued to do it for decades, it does not matter your religious preference. When I do that first song, everyone, you can just feel the reciprocated energy. You can just feel people like tearing up and like I can see, you know, some in the room, but you can just feel it. And like you said, after that, there's like this united cohesiveness and it's like, we're in here now. So then I can do no wrong.
You center people, you ground them from the very start of your show. And it's, you know, that's the purpose. I mean, now that I think about it, that would be a wonderful way to impact every single person in your life. If you could center and ground them from the very start of a conversation, which you're very talented at, then you actually get to the heart of the matter so much faster. And maybe that's the point of what both you and I do. It's just centered, it's grounded, and here's the message I'm trying to get out there.
I agree.
And you can take it, you can leave it, but I'm just happy you're here.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. And I think most people really, from what I can see on comments and things on your page and mine, I think that most people take it, you know, because they know that everything that we say or we deliver, whether mine is through music or spoken or some crazy post on my page, they know that it all comes from a place of realness and of love. Because if I don't do anything else, I love big and I love hard. So, and I know
You
you
can
do
feel
too.
it. Yep. Yep.
So, but people are always asking me here, oh my gosh, where are you from? And I say Fort Worth.
Yeah.
And they go, but where were you raised? And I'm like,
I'm the
Fort Worth.
real deal.
Like, this is it, you know. Traveled all over the world, toured in Europe, and have been all over the place, but Fort Worth is home. And even if I go, you know, move to LA for a little while, Denzel, call me. Or if I just, you know, go off to New York, Broadway, call me. But even if I go off for a little while, Fort Worth is always going to be home. So I ask you that because not only is it your branding, but it's so much a part of you.
Yeah.
From what I see. And so I wondered, would there ever be a St. Louis woman or
No, I mean, I have multiple other domain names. My dad and I do. He's collected all of them throughout Texas, and then multiple other, you know, name a big city woman throughout the United States. You know, big girl goal, a big dream would be that I would run Texas Woman and allow other moms to do what I do in their city, and then have other people around the country do the same thing. So we're slowly collecting those because it's the perfect way to stay at home with your kids, be engaged in your city, and make some money or barter or trade on the side and just experience things in a different way while you can stay home with your kids. So that would be the big kind of secret lofty goal.
I am going to have a talk with 8-pound, 6-ounce baby Jesus and try to get that worked out for you. Because I think that's amazing. And I think that's a big part of what we do. And it's kind of the reason why anytime you're around me, you're always going to see teenagers, you're always going to see children, you're always going to see young people because, not just because, you know, it's cheap labor.
They're good.
No, I'm just kidding. But I can't imagine living the life that I've been fortunate to lead and not sharing that with others, teaching somebody, giving them a platform on which to build their own life, their dreams, try it out, maybe decide that they don't like it, but at least they had an opportunity to do it.
Oh, the exposure alone. I mean, my daughter's been on stages. It's where she originally met you, behind the scenes. She's been somewhere where mommy's been talking. She's, been in so many random. We went in the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile. Like, we got to do such cool stuff where she's had to engage with adults. And my son too, he was my anxious one, so it took him a while, and I never wanted to force him. But he's coming out of his shell, and they're learning how to engage with other adults, engage with things outside of their comfort zone, and just show up in an assertive, engaged way. And it's helped them grow and learn and adapt, and
I love that.
It's perfect. So you might as well have them in tow so they can learn that every day.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And they'll be better people because of it. My reasoning was way different than your reasoning. I was a single mom, and my kids were just with me all the time because and so
Lucky ducks.
But the end result was the same. Both of my kids are amazing entertainers because they sat through hours and hours of rehearsals and just everything. And you know, they grew to love what I do, and I'm grateful for that. And so, you know, they both just do amazing things. And
they'll have a natural ebb and flow with each other too. You can tell you've spent a lot of time together. I've caught them at a gospel brunch before, and they just read each other's minds all the time. It's incredible.
Which is really kind of cool because you want to be friends with your kids, especially as they become adults, if it's possible.
I'm mommy.
Pass.
No.
I'm your mom.
Yeah.
I'm your mom.
But that's also important,
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
it's so special, and it gives me hope as I go through teenagerhood eventually and all of that. I can call you and be like, they're going to like me later. Okay.
Yes,
All right,
yes,
fine. I can do
yes,
that.
yes. You go through those times when they just want to be their own humans, and then they come back to being your best friend.
Take it.
You know.
I did that journey with
Yeah.
my poor mom. Sorry, Mom. Sorry, Dad.
Me too. Sorry, Mom. I think we're going to wrap up, and I just want to. I really kind of already asked you about the what you would tell a person who wants to do what you do, but I would like you to look just directly into that camera right there and tell everyone who's going to watch this show. You're my very first episode, by the way.
Oh my gosh, hot dog. That's exciting.
I know. I'm super excited.
Man, that was my mom joke coming out pretty solid there. No one says hot dog.
So I just want you to tell them again just about the importance of work-life balance and
Yeah.
how your life has been positively affected by finding that work-life balance for all the moms who might be really overwhelmed right now, um, whether it's with dealing with family or dealing with work, just whatever your amazingness is.
Oh my goodness. That it doesn't always happen. It's not always pretty. It's not always perfect. Cry the tears when you need to. Get up at 4:45 if you need to get stuff done before the kids wake up. Not every day because you'll wear yourself out. Um, but make the time for you. Be open and vocal about your needs. It's not the most romantic thing in the world, but when I wake up in the morning, I mean, my husband owns his own company as well. And we wake up and we go through the schedule of the day because we're both in charge of getting the kids everywhere. And I tell him 3 things that I need that day that will make my day go smoother, that will make it more productive, that will prevent some fires. And then he tells me his 3. And we look out for those moments for each other. Um, and then when you need the break, take the break. Don't take the break tomorrow. Take it right now because there's a reason you need that. And it won't ever feel perfectly balanced. It just doesn't. I think that's part of mom life. You're constantly treading water, constantly drowning, but there's room for everything, and you can get your dreams done and still build great humans.
That is the best advice ever.
Me
Ever,
too.
ever,
I'm going to
ever.
watch that recording and play it back to myself.
I was going to say, sometimes we have to speak to
Mhm.
ourselves. Just grab that mirror and talk about it. So, everybody, I really want to thank you all for coming out to your phone or laptop or wherever you're watching this. I want to especially thank my guest. Please go to Instagram and look at Fort Worth Woman. I'm like, we've said it 17 times already and I'm messing it up. But please go to IG and look at Fort Worth Woman. And I just want to encourage everyone watching today, That's Life with Sheran Keyton, to really, really, really follow the advice that she gave. I remember in the midst of a very insane time, I was overseas and it was Christmas time and my kids were home and I was not with my kids. And I was so sad um, because they were asking, is Santa going to come since I wasn't there? And I thought, I'm ruining Christmas right now, but I was working in the best way that I knew how. And I was looking for some type of a sign, some type of a something. And the one channel that was playing anything remotely English played an old recording of Elizabeth Taylor. I'm a huge fan. So that already had my attention. Elizabeth Taylor said on this press release interview thing that for all of the fame, for all of the fortune, for all of the world travels, for all of the things that she had in life, she would give it all up and start all over again if she could just be at home with her kids. And that affected me so greatly. I didn't go back out on tour. I was like, yep, that's it. I'm going to be a stay-at-home mom. That's not the whole answer. Find your balance. find your work, find your life, and then somewhere in the middle of there, keep doing this until you find your balance. I want to encourage you to come back out and hang out with me sometime soon. My name is Sheran Goodspeed Keyton, and thank you so much for coming to That's Life with Sheran Keyton.